indeed for the people? Are our leaders living up to the duties of their respective offices? And do they pay attention to the generation they call future leaders? These questions and their like are those that we find answers to on your Sunday evening current affairs show, Candid Voice. On Candid Voice, we talk facts and we speak truth to power. Join me, Benjamin Ofeado, this and every Sunday at 8 p.m. on Asasi Radio 99.5 MHz with my panel of young voices as we discuss the matters that matter to you. Candid Voice, as it is. 81,081 tertiary school graduates have been posted to both public and private organizations for the 2021 and 2022 National Service Program. This notwithstanding the peculiar circumstances of some firms shutting down, some downsizing its labor, and even more going virtual with their operations, conditions that have been necessitated by the COVID-19 pandemic. This gives you a sense of the number of tertiary graduates produced every single year. The real question indeed on the lips of many persons is whether the National Service Scheme as presently operated is of any use. Also, after almost 50 years of its operationalization as a national youth service program, has it achieved its purpose underpinning its establishment? And if it is the case that something is wrong with the scheme, what can be done about it to optimize its benefits both for the state and the national service personnel? Fortunately, we have the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme tonight with us, and we put these questions to her. This is our conversation tonight on your show and our show, Candid Voice. And on Candid Voice, as we always do, we say it as it is. My name is Benjamin Ofeado, and I welcome you to the show. The show is live on Asasi Radio 99.5 MHz here in Accra and on 98.5 MHz in Kumasi. Asasi Radio, it is over there as well. And on 123 FM on 99.7 MHz in Tamale. We are also live online on Asasi Radio 99.5 on Facebook and on Asasi TV Official on YouTube. You can interact with us on 020000995 via WhatsApp. You can share your messages, your questions. I'll be very glad to put them to my guest this evening. And also, in due course, we may open the phone lines. Yes. And you can call us on 020009951, 020009951, and we'll have a chat. Yes, I had indicated to you already that our guest for today is the Deputy Executive Director for the National Service Scheme here in Ghana. And I'm just finding out that she was someone that I was actually in school with. Yeah, so we're going to have some time talking about school. And she goes by the name Gifty Oware Mensah. Gifty, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can say that again so they can hear you.
Thank you.
Great. So let's start with the National Service Scheme, just going back to the basics. What is the National Service Scheme about? We are here in Ghana. I mean, a number of people have had to go through the program, but really, what is it about? What is the National Service Scheme really about?
All right, National Service Scheme. Let me say a good evening to our cherished viewers, listeners,
yes,
all people watching us across the globe. It's simple. It was brought it by Act 426, which is the act we work with now. The act is clearer on what it does. We are supposed to make sure every Ghanaian 18 years and above, specifically to 40 years, are deployed, and these people go out there to serve Mother Ghana. In the act, it states that it's supposed to be 2 years. Those 2 years were supposed to have started from when you are done with A levels, and then when you go into after tertiary, then you do your last level. But then in 2006, an act it was taken to cabinet passed, and then like that now says that we're supposed to do service 1 year, and only tertiary students, so tertiary graduates, are allowed to do service. And it takes us into anybody who had gone to obtain a course that is 2 years and above. That is the person that can. So from HND upwards, then you can do your national service. So in a nutshell, national service is supposed to be an agency that posts people to go do service. So the agency that runs us right from school into the working world.
Okay, so you mentioned that 2 years and above, so diplomas do not qualify?
No, diplomas does, because diplomas are 2 years.
Okay. So
DBS, no.
Okay.
Certificate courses, no.
So it's a tertiary program which is certified, or eventually
Any
you get a
tertiary
certificate.
program that is certified by the Ghana Accreditation Board. So it's only institutions that are certified that can run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the act that guides the National Service Scheme.
Right.
What, for every act, there is an object and some of the functions of the agency that is set up to see to the achievement of those particular object. What is the object, one, and then the setup of the National Service Secretariat? What are its functions, properly so?
Like I already stated, we're supposed to be the agency that runs between teaching the national service personnel, i.e. the graduates from the tertiary, how to enter into the job market. So this young person is supposed to have a 1 year period with us where we grow this person to appreciate the excesses that must be left before you enter job. Now the service space is supposed to, one, help make sure that a national service personnel is posted. We monitor the person to make sure they're getting the best out of it. And then this 1 year now per agreement is seen as your 1 year of work experience, because way back it used not to be seen as such. That national service 1 year was just a 1 year of service to the nation, and then it goes off like that. But then the Labour Commission accepted that 1 year of service should be seen as 1 year of still job experience. Yeah.
So I would want to believe that hitherto it was posting to public organizations and certain organizations which were within the remit of the state.
Government, sure.
When was that transition where now people could get into the private sector as well?
That has been right from the late 2000s, where now private sector, because the private sector is being more of one of the units that helps us to be able to sustain this process, because it takes a lot of money from government. Because if you are posting an 81,000 people, and if all of these people are going to rely on the COFEX of government, which is a COFEX that pays the national service personnel, then it means 81,000 times a 559, which is so much in a month. So the private agency, which we call the administrative support or the cooperative support, and not just the private agency, but also some quasi-government institutions which do not also derive any financial strength from government, i.e. those that are not subvented and they are not nowhere found in the budgets of Ghana. They also come to take national service personnel from us. And this has been, like I said, from the late 2000s. Yeah.
From your deployment for this year in particular, what has been the proportions going to public sector and those going to the private sector?
It's been about 80%.
18,
roughly.
Going into the private sector.
Sure.
So the significant deployments are going into the public sector.
Yes.
So the government is actually swallowing up.
And these significances, it runs in about 5 sectors. One is the highest is education support, where you and I know that every time there is a need for teachers, and then national service coming to support the teaching field. So we are not mainly the teachers that works in the classrooms, but we are rather a support system to the teachers. And when you check even the tertiaries, when we delayed the posting out of all the issues that had happened, i.e. the COVID issues, the strikes that had happened, it affected even the universities a lot, because these are the same people that end up being the TAs and then the technical support also for the tertiary. And from there, we go to the health support, which is also a very huge support base. We post nurses, we post lab techniques, we put all of these people to those places. And we come to the agri support, which is one of the flagships of government. So the planting for food and jobs and rain for food and jobs also take a chunk of it. Then the national service support. And the national service support is all the projects we run around national service, all the demonstration farms we have, the demonstration projects and collaborations we have with people. And then the private sector takes the rest of them. Yeah.
And because you spoke about this particular year's deployments, let's go in a bit with the challenges, some which you've mentioned, so that you can spell them out fully. What was it that made you guys delay with the postings?
Often than not, if we even want to say it's a delay, I think it was a point of being able to post, because the rule is this in the act. The act says you can only post a graduate. And our national service personnel, who we have posted now, were not graduates as of September, because a lot of them were still writing exams. A lot of them were still defending their thesis. So these people were supposed to have been done with school before we could post them. So I don't want to believe that we really delayed, because along the line, we did this test run that came out, and somewhere late August, everybody realized that, okay, national service was ready. All we're waiting for was the completion of our national service personnel. Then we post them, which we did. And the delayance, if we want to call it, want of a better word, came out of, one, the strikes that were happening around, because when there were strikes, schools were halted for a while. When people had to go in and complete, we had to wait for them to complete, because you cannot post someone who is in school for the person to commence service, because service must be done by graduates, not students. And then again, COVID obviously had taken a lot of strength from everybody. So there are challenges here and there from the private sector, even from some government institutions. Like I said, the non-subvented, who had to even lay people off, sometimes have to do the running of schedules now for their staff. So they all had to now write officially to us and say, we're sorry, but we can't go with you. You have to give us time. So all of these things had to consider. Stakeholders had to come in. And that's what delayed it.
And subsequent to the postings being done, there have been a number of complaints. And I know, for instance, some organizations where some persons posted there, go there and they say that, oh, the people who want, we have enough. We can't take them. Is that a case where you engage with these organizations you are posting the personnel to before you do the deployment?
We do. And we do this every year. And I don't think it's a point of, it's not really about this year or like the periods happening. It's just a point of every year in review. We have some organizations that may say, bring the national service personnel, bring us 10 people, you take the 10, and then they realize that due to A or B or C, they can't keep them. And then we have to repost them. So at national service, reposting is no crime. So if really you go and you are not accepted at wherever you're posted to, you gladly come back to us and repost you. One of the beautiful things about it is that we repost you to the same region that you were posted to, the same district, and the same area. So we don't limit you to the fact of, okay, I wanted to work with, let's say, GRA Kumasi, and then I was posted to Greater Kumasi, and something happened, and then I'm told that, okay, you can't know, so you have to be posted to, let's say, Wenchino. We'll still post you to Greater Kumasi, and then there is no problem.
So in terms of the preference, and is it the case that whichever preference that a potential or a prospective service personnel chooses is where the person gets to be posted?
Right. So we give people the privilege of selecting places that they think they would have loved to deliver service to. But then these are the criteria we look at. The first is the skills of the person. We look at, before we even start all the posting process, we are looking at people who are married, people who are nursing mothers, people who have to deliver something to people, so people who are sick. So for instance, if I'm sick and I am afraid of heights, so if it's supposed to have been something I have some documentation from a medical practitioner, then I'll be allowed to go to a place where I don't have to be on height. If I have asthma and other things. So we make them write all of these details when we are registering. So we look at these ones, so we flag these people, and then they are treated differently from the rest. Then we go to look at who is being sick for by who. So if, for instance, I'm being sick for by, let's say, any of the tertiaries, and then another private agency seeking for me. Because like I told you before, we look at the education sector, we'll post you to the education sector first before the other agency. Then we come to what course did you study and where you are needed. So if, for instance, let's say Asasi Radio, I can use Asasi. So Asasi Radio is asking for, let's say, somebody in communication, and we've posted all the communication people out there. We'll just look for somebody who did something close to communication, so maybe English
or linguistics.
So we'll just look at all the other things that are close to communication and post them. So for instance, somebody would say, I did economics and then I found myself at, let's say, statistical service. Yes, because you are needed, because you are good at math. That's why you were able to do economics. Yeah. So we look at all of these things. And when we are done with it, we do the general posting. So the general posting is where people make jokes like people can be posted to mortuaries, but we don't have mortuaries in our systems. But we post people to hospitals, and the mortuary is part of the hospital facilities. So if they decide to post you to a department, maybe you can be posted to a pathologist department, but not necessarily the mortuary like they make it look like.
So ahead of this show, one of our hosts on Asasi Radio sent this to me to put to you.
Okay.
There was someone here, enrollment status, personnel posted, place of posting, Okponglo traffic light, the second one.
That is not true.
That must
is
be
so not true. Social media makes a lot of things fun, and I think that sometimes, for me, I in as much as it's a serious business, I still think that we can keep stressing ourselves in all of these things.
We can have a good laugh.
We can have a good laugh. And I have seen people say, there was this joke, I saw a young man who says he was posted to the maternity ward and he didn't do anything maternity. He doesn't know how to go and deliver a child, and he's been asked to go and deliver and all that. These are beautiful stories from the National Service personnel. And I think that as far as you're working with young people, we appreciate all of these SSS. But the truth is, there is no posting in National Service that will post anybody to a Ponglo traffic light.
The second one.
We post nurses to hospitals.
Okay.
And the hospital will determine where they will position them, not us.
Talking about, now that you mentioned a particular profession, there was a conversation around those in law school, those who've done the law program, who eventually become lawyers, and national service. What has been the arrangement around the legal education when it comes to the national service scheme?
We post them, just like any tertiary. And then, so what we're doing is those that had not done the service when they were done with LLB, because not everybody passes to go into the law school from LLB. So some of them enroll to have service. But then when you've not done it, because you're supposed to do it before you are ever employed, we still have these people come back and we post them. So we have a collaboration with the law schools where we move from one place to the other. All the other law schools, like the Gempa, Legon, the Mokola, KNUST, and we go train them on what they're supposed to do. So we may have a few number, because most of them might have even done service one way or the other. And because now LLB is even more of a second degree to many people, they might have done service while they did their first degree.
How about the medical front?
We still post them.
So after the 6 years, you'd still post them, because
that's the same as their housemanship.
So the housemanship period is their national
1 year
service.
already,
Okay. Let's talk about
same as nurses, same as teachers.
Okay. The remuneration or the allowances.
559.04.
Yes. So this 559.04, and a number of people who are posted outside the comfort zone, you would have indicated that people would have chosen their preferences, giving whatever criteria based on which you would have done the posting. But then you also have the general posting, where people get to be posted. Okay. If someone lives in Accra and has to be going to a place in Nankpanduri, has to go and live there, 559, commute, accommodation, feeding. Is there something being done around this number where certain people are given preferential, treatment in terms of the allowance to take cognizance of their peculiar challenges or peculiar situation of being posted to rather uncomfortable spaces?
Where is an uncomfortable space? I schooled some part in the Eastern region in Greater Accra. I did first degree KNUST. I had never lived in Kumasi before. I still go to Kumasi and live there. I don't think Ayediase is a very comfortable place. looking at the estate I had lived in all my life. But when I came back, I still had to do service there. Came back again. I was living at the A-Life estate. I was working around the Laboni area when I was working with Dankwa Institute, and that was not comfortable. So you see, I think the issue is about understanding the basics, that national service is supposed to be a point of patriotism, a point where we fuse ourselves into nationalism. And then I get to appreciate the region that I never knew, to understand your language, your persona. So when I'm meeting you ever in my life, I'm able to deal with you. And whether we like it or not, we live in a country where not all of us are privileged to have all the good things. So yes, some regions are not privileged to have all the things that are in Greater Accra. But hey, I still get into Choco and there are still problems there. And then somebody is also posted to Mamprobi Hospital. And that person is also, who says the person is comfortable? Who says the one that's working very close to the, what's the name of it? PZ, which is just close to the Lavender Hill, is happy? No. So it's not really about where we post the people to. It's just about what they can deliver. If we do not appreciate this, because some people went to school all their lives in Accra. Then when it was tertiary time, they decided to go to UDS. Nyankpala. I've been there before. The WA campus. Is it pretty?
No, but you see, Gifty, beyond the person's comfort, beyond the comfort bit.
Nobody is comfortable.
So beyond the comfort, right? If I live in Accra,
Yeah.
and I get to be posted to a place in Accra, what that means is, for instance, if I'm living with family, I still get to move from home to work and back.
Okay.
But if I'm living in Accra, I chose to be in Accra, and I get posted to Kumasi, what that means is I need to go and rent a space.
Okay.
If I'm being paid 559.04, as you did mention, of
It
that
used to be
amount,
350.
but even now we want more. And that's
No
the
long
message
ago,
coming
it was
from them.
$100.
Okay, so so for such a person who is
Yeah.
having to go to Kumasi, who lives here in Accra,
You're right.
and doesn't have to pay
anything.
rent, and have to go to a place like Kumasi, have to commute, has to feed. Practically, how does such a person live and survive
That's what I'm
and
saying.
offer service to the state?
I wish I could answer all of these things by saying that we would build houses all over and make everybody just walk in like Libya used to do. When you move from your district to the other, you just get a house and you have to just go in and enjoy yourself. No, we don't have. And as a growing nation, we are all sacrificing. What we do at National Service, we have few places which we call transit quarters, and we also supervise and make sure that these National Service personnel, some of them get comfortable places that they could rent at cheaper prices. But you see what, like I was saying, when they are selecting the regions, the beautiful part of it is that all the people from the Western North wants to come to Greater Accra. So you would have, out of, let's say, 120,000 that may be registering for the year, you would have about 100,000 all selecting Accra. So at one point, we have to use discretion because we can't put everybody in Accra. And these people, so one of the things we also look at in criteria selection is where you live and your convenience. But a lot of our friends who are supposed to come from Nankbanduri will want to choose to say they want to work at GMPC in Tema. And then people say, and you see, it's beautiful when everybody, I ask people this. People say, okay, I want to work in Anglo Good. And you say, which one? And they say the one at Impremdo. Like, what's the difference? So if we post you to teach at Impremdo, is it not the same thing? So no, but the difference is that they were working at GMPC or Anglo Good. But you see, which means that people are, it's not about their comfort of where they're posted to. It's just the point of thinking that if I work at maybe Anglo Good, to them, they may get a job. But what is more important is seeing that national service 1 year is service to the nation, your own service to yourself, because it becomes 1 year of your own development for employment later.
We'll be taking a look at a number of messages, and you are getting a lot of questions coming
National
from you
service is like that.
from
That's
on
why I avoid radio.
Facebook as well as on WhatsApp. But would want to go for a quick commercial break. When we're back, we'll take you into the questions that are coming. The show is Candid Voice, and we are live on Asasi Radio 99.5. My guest this evening is Gifty Oware. Hey, let me get the name properly, else she'll beat me. So the full name is Gifty Oware. People of God, technology is help. Okay, Gifty Oware Mensa. and she's the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme here in Ghana. She's our guest this evening. We'll be back and we'll continue with the conversation.
Replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel.
Okay, let's go to some of the questions that are coming in. So, someone is asking. So Joseph Boachi says, "Please tell Madam, National Service is owing my wife 2 months. How can we get it? It's almost 2 years now." Gifty.
I don't know what he meant by we are owing the wife. I'm sorry, but he would have to use the district to get it, because at the headquarters, all we do is to press an alert to say people must be paid after we've perused to see the right thing has been done. But rather, all the payment process starts from the district and not at the headquarters.
So the person should go to the district office,
Yes, please.
where he or she worked.
Yes,
and then
it's a she.
It's a she in this
Because
case.
he said yes, the wife.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take the commercial now. When we are back, we'll go to further. We'll go and look at the other questions that are coming up.
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still, the engine noise in my car won't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goil Fuel. By the way, my name is Thomas, but I did try Goil Super XP Ron 95. Then,
Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3 multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station. Ajibebia.
now my car is renewed. Yankonkwa.
Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah, dear.
So the show is Candid Voice, and we're live on Asasi Radio 99.5 megahertz here in Accra, on 98.5 in Kumasi, and on 99.7 in Tamale. Joining us this evening is Gifty Owari-Mensah, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme. And we've been talking about the purpose of the National Service Scheme, the relevance, and the various challenges that they've been facing. And we've been zooming into the particular challenges they've had to deal with for this particular year. Kofi Amening comes in and says, "Boss, forget and move on. Because once you are done with national service and there's any arrears and you don't push for it to be paid within short period of time, then forget it." Gifty, why is this the case?
That's not true. It's so not true. You see, the reality is this. Most people do not think that they should be paid whilst they did no job. The problem we have is, for instance, by the 15th of each month, we are supposed to have submitted our monthly assessment form. Some people would delay till like 20th, 21st. And often than not, when we see there is a documentation error, let's say if I'm supposed to be your head of institution or the HR signing for you, if I'm not the one signing, someone else, you would not be paid, because it means you're trying to fraudulently get money from national service. So that these are the challenges that happens. And there are people who do not even work at all, but think that, oh, yes, in national service here, the process is that you'll be paid whether you work or not. And then they think we would pay them. No. But anybody that had submitted properly, anybody that had done all the processes right, is always paid at national service.
So around the reposting arrangements, there are certain persons who get to be posted to whichever institution, but certain organizations specifically request for their service.
Yeah.
How do you go about that process?
Right. So the institution seeking for you would have to write officially to us. If they already registered in our system, one, you must be a registered company in Ghana who pay taxes, who also pay any of the, how do you call it,
statutories.
SNETs and all the statutories to your employees. And then when you are brought in, you write to us with the name and the NSS number of the individual you are seeking for. And as far as the education support is not seeking for that person, we'll gladly give you.
So if an educational institution
It's
is
seeking
for
for
that
you
person,
as a TA, we would give you as a TA than to give you to Asasi Radio.
That reminds me of a story in 2012. But to other matters, for those who have done the service and
Right.
are yet to collect their certificates,
certificates.
some who have done it for many years and have not gone for their certificate, what's the process around it for them to retrieve it?
Simple. www.nsscertificates.com. nsscertificate.com. Voila.
www.
nsscertificates.com.
And they can get it. They don't need to come and see any human being.
No. You
You've
just
gone.
have to apply, and then it's brought to you in the house.
Since when was this
From
implemented?
2018.
2018. Okay, so for all of you who have NSS certificate
Who did
collection
service
arrears,
and decided not to take it, not thinking about how you are making national service officers bulky
with paper,
with paper. So we decided to go paperless. So this year, we did the digital certificate, which has a 2-factor security protection,
Authentication.
barcode, and then we send to our national service personnel.
so when such a person goes to that portal that you've just
Just
announced,
put in your name, the school you went to, which you don't have to forget, and then the course you did, the year you did service. And as far as you finally did all your processes to getting your certificate will be there. If you did not, it will still give you the opportunity of being able to print the annual assessment. When you go through the assessment, the certificate will be ready and sent to you through an attestation.
great. About, and you know, the money issue seems to come up very often.
Yeah, because
And
money is blood.
so, and you know our situation, especially with the onset of COVID.
Yes.
One thing that we know in this country is we have not experienced deflation.
Yes.
Inflation may not be rising as fast as previously, but it is still inflation. There's still inflation. There may be disinflation, but there's no deflation. So prices are going high. 559 was implemented which year?
2018.
18. It's been 3 years on.
Yeah.
Assuming that even the average inflation rate is even 7%, which is not the case. I mean, the value of people's disposable income would have been significantly reduced.
Yes, and then it should increase.
What is the National Service Secretariat doing in terms of maybe negotiation with the Ministry of Finance, through the Ministry of Youth and
We are under education.
your Ministry of Education? Okay,
Yep.
to provide a bit more of cushioning for these service personnel.
Ben, unfortunately, we are done defending our budgets. 2020 is already close to call. 2021, we are done. It's been sent. So maybe in the 2022, maybe mid-year when budget is being reviewed. But I think that for 2021, we tried putting it out, but the negotiation didn't go as planned, because when we were hit with all the stories on COVID and other things, then we realized that yes, it wasn't really the right time for us to push it. But then we believe that we'll still push it again. Why not? If the national service personnel is being paid 1,000 cedis, what do Gifty or any of the executives at national service lose? Nothing. We rather would get some comfort of our national service personnel doing a better job than they are doing, if there is any. And that's what we look out for. We wouldn't want to shortchange anyone for the sake of what. We believe that 2022 should bring something different. But the 2021-22 batch, I don't think if there is even any increment, is going to affect them.
Okay.
Because their allowances already been budgeted for.
Okay, so would want to hear from you, and we are opening the phone lines.
You're opening phone lines.
Yes, we want to hear from you. If you have any concerns, we want you to call in, and then you can put them to Gifty. The phone lines, you can call 020 000 9951. 020 000 9951. I'll have the MTN number very soon. I'll announce that as well. But in the meantime, yes, you can send in your messages to those watching on Facebook. Yes, you can leave your messages there, and you can also send us a WhatsApp message on 020 000 995. We put up a poll, and we were asking a few questions. So one of them, should national service be made optional? We had about 61.1% of them, and there's about 190 votes, of which about 61.1% are saying yes, and just about 38.9% saying no. Why shouldn't the national service scheme be made an optional program?
Right. National service is mandatory by law. And I'll tell you what. If national service, if you ask anybody who has a security background and understands the economy of the country, the person will tell you, if you have more of you and I who are tertiary leavers on the street without jobs, crimes increase. National service serve as a base to prevent a lot of these things from happening. So within this 1 year, we allow people to make all the errors they have to with the job they have to incur. And when they are done with it, then some of them get jobs. Some don't. But then there is that progressive point of the fact that I have a 1 year job experience awaiting to progress. Now, too, if you ever want to do any job in this country, you're supposed to have completed your national service scheme, whether you have to be employed by a private sector or the public sector, or even employ yourself. If you have to do any scholarship which belongs to the country, from the scholarship secretariat to Get Fund, to GMPC scholarship, to the Cocoa Board scholarship, or any of them, you're supposed to have done service. And when the great NAPCO came, the first criteria was, have you done national service? And if all of these things are not good enough, and anybody feels it should be optional, there is that point of, though it's mandatory, you can still decide not to register. But you see, the beautiful part of it is that the day you're supposed to face the challenge of what service is, then you appreciate it. A lot of our people who used to work with the private banks, when they had to go on defunct and they had to be owned by GCB and the CBG, then a lot of people had to be laid off. And then people kept coming into the office and saying, I'm sorry, but when I used to work with so-and-so bank, they didn't allow us. They said, okay, we could employ us like that. So I didn't do it. So please, can you give me a certificate? Certificates are not manufactured. Certificates are given to people who are done with service. So I think if you don't appreciate unemployment, you would not appreciate why national service must be mandatory.
Okay, so the MTN line is 059 415 7777 059 415 7777. There's a comment coming from Facebook, and that's Roland Ernest Richter. He says national service should, as a matter of urgency, be restricted to either the Ghana Police Service or the Ghana Armed Forces. There's a growing threat of terrorism in the sub-region, and as careless as we generally are, it's imperative some form of awareness is created and training given to the youth. I don't see a better idea than this. He himself is gloating in his suggestion. But I ask you, Gifty.
I was just about to say that because
No, I'm coming. I ask you, Gifty, do you do postings to the Ghana Armed Forces,
yes,
for instance?
Yes, posting to all the security services.
So people, those who go to the Ghana Armed Forces, do they go in to train like the military personnel?
No.
So what do they go to do in there?
They are still civilians who work at the Ghana Armed Forces. There are civilians who work at the military.
So they provide ancillary services?
Yes, that's what they do. But then we have a project we're running with the Ghana Police Service called the Urban Traffic Management. This one is supposed to help the police to be able to manage traffic situations in zones that are urban. So it's only most of the time the capital towns. And then these places, these people are trained as MTTD people. And then the good thing is that when our national service personnel, when police is recruiting, they consider our national service personnel who did those trainings and served under them before they consider the rest. Yeah.
So that they tend to be prioritized.
Yes, they're
when it comes to that.
And then again, like we're talking about the accommodation thing. So I was just being alerted that the schools give lodges to people who are posted to schools. So really, if most of our people want lodges, it's better to take your postings to the various schools that you're posted to.
So you are saying that
and then
the TAs get to be accommodated?
Not TAs. I'm talking about most of the people that are posted to the senior high school, the junior high schools that are around. Yes, they are helped with lodges.
So for instance, we have these E-block secondary schools, which originally did not have accommodation arrangements with those ones.
Good E-block, the beautiful part of it.
Which one is the good E-block?
Well, the good E-blocks is any of the E-blocks we find around. But it's a beautiful school.
So the E-block?
Yes, the beautiful E-blocks.
Okay, all right.
When you're posted there, the nice part of it is that the Ghana Education Service has a collaboration with us and the local government in supporting you to get places to reside.
So one of the polls that we put out also was, is the national service scheme still relevant? And 50.4% saying yes and 49.6% saying no, which means generally, there's significant support for the national Service Scheme. Talking about this relevance, and you had
I
mentioned.
just gave the
The
relevance.
And you had mentioned NAPCO.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain persons who indicate that beyond that 1 year, which is mandatory, if the National Service Scheme could allow for a voluntary extension so that looking at your main purpose of serving as a bridge between academic work and the work life,
Job work.
if I can gain more work experience, that could be an opportunity for me. Is the National Service Secretariat minded to consider this, to even make a proposal in that regard?
We used to have what we call the voluntary service, which is no more, but it's something we are looking at, the government is looking at bringing again. But hey, to really think of it, as far as you said about 60-something says it should be optional, so how would we get an optional thing being people going on extension? The reality of it is that we as a scheme has a mandate, and our mandate is supposed to post people to the job market for a year. And when after these people are trained, they roll on to another project. And government has done a lot of projects through the Ministry of Youth and Sports and through education to have so many of them, including NAPCO. YE has a project they are running. Forestry Commission has a project they run. So there are many projects that are being run. But what I believe is that it's a holistic approach to seeing all youth agencies come together on a table. We did one recently on the GREP, where we collaborated with some scholars from Harvard and MIT to make sure that we are bringing a proper job employment project where we get more younger people who are tertiary leavers to be able to employ. But for how long can you keep someone under some extension? It would have to end at one point. And then, you know, in terms of Ghana PR laws, even when you keep people on 6 months contract, you're supposed to now employ them. But if there is no way to employ them, then what do we do with them? So it becomes a point of more of a legal tussle. But then what we are looking at is how can we sustain these things? So at National Service, yes, we have some projects we run, but not necessarily projects that would affect people on extension. No, we don't do extension.
And since you've mentioned the connection with other agencies, and
Yes.
this is a conversation that we hope to be having soon. The National Service Secretariat, the NEIP, the GEA, and all of these, the YEA,
Yeah, we have a project
the
we are running.
NYA. Like I've mentioned about 5
Yeah.
institutions right now. Are you guys talking amongst yourselves?
Yes, we do.
When it comes to
We do.
dealing with the youth, the issue of youth unemployment?
We do. You see, recently when you check what YE had a youth connect site,
Yes.
like the youth employment project.
In fact, Youth Connect is
Yes,
upcoming.
it's NYA.
Okay.
On that project, if you see how many people were ready to get jobs and are ready to be employed, you'll be amazed. So it's not a point of the Ghanaian youth not being ready for the job. So yes, we meet each other, we connect on projects, we run some of them. Recently at National Service, we're running something with the NAFCO group, that's the buffer stock team, to make sure that we try and enhance more of our great projects. And all this project brings people onto job. Now we are doing something with the Ghana tourism, and the project with Ghana tourism is supposed to project tourism of Ghana in another perspective, where these national service personnel would get at least some permanency in terms of job and become more of the marketers of these things, and it becomes a longer project. There's so much money in the tourism industry that had not been harnessed, and we believe that it makes the person more of a private sector person, but the person get connected to our tourism structure, i.e. the hotels, the sites that we are rebuilding, and then it gives them back and get people to develop themselves, and then they can set up whatever they want to set up. Yeah.
So the phone lines are still open. You can call in. The number is 059-415-7777, 059-415-7777, also 020-000-9951. Whichever one works for you, you can call in, and whatever questions you have, we'll be glad to put them to Gifty, who joins us in the studio this evening. Raymond Abrokwa, reading some of your questions. Raymond Abrokwa says, increase the alawa tom. Kweku Ohimimboachi says, "Hi Ben, I'm trying to retrieve my NSS certificate, but it's showing no record found. I guess he visited the portal."
Yeah, so what happens is that, and I'm telling Kweku, if Kweku is going to be truthful
Okay,
to all
so
of us.
quickly, we have someone on the
Right.
lines. Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
Oh, my name is Kudo Prince. I'm calling from Western Region of Sankagwa.
Okay, let's hear you.
I see since Putin was released, my status read on hold, fail authentication. I've come to their office for that verification. But as I'm talking to you now, I am still on hold. I want the sister or the madam over there to explain to me what is happening and what I should do from that day.
Okay, so that's
Right.
Kujo from.
Can I ask Kujo a question? Kujo, have you opened your portal this evening?
This evening, I opened it around 4 o'clock. I saw nothing.
All right. So can you open your portal now?
All right.
And you said you're seeing fail authentication.
Yeah, I say fail authentication.
When you went to the office, what did they say was the problem?
No, they only took my enrollment form and my picture and tried to feed into the system. They said nothing to me.
All right, okay. So it means that what really happened with Kujo is that Kujo might have cropped the picture he had on any of his ID cards inputting. So we try to, the system is an automatic system because it's a metric system that fishes out any fraudulent activity. So for instance, it's assumed that as far as I'm Gifty and I say I am the one registering, I should be able to take a recent picture. The moment the picture connects to any of the photos on your ID card, which is an old photo, you are automatically blocked. And you have to go to the National Service Office for manual verification before you are unblocked.
Okay.
And somebody must be held responsible for you being unblocked because already whatever you did was fraudulent and we are trying to sort it out. So it takes a period. So Kujo, latest tomorrow, you would see it unblocked.
Okay.
And then you'll be posted.
So Kujo, please, if by tomorrow morning you are not seeing it, please visit your district of National Service Office
then they would sort
that
it
can
out.
be dealt with. So 020-000-9951 or 059-415-7777. Gifty is taking your questions this evening. Kwesia Tobra says the NSS persons do not work under conditions different from the rest of Ghanaians. All Ghanaian workers want more. We have heard you. Kujo had earlier sent a message here stating that his status still remains hold and that he needed help. Kwesia Tobra also comes in and says some service personnel pay and share cost of accommodation. And in the rural areas, rent is relatively cheap at 60 cedis, 80 cedis a month. We hear you. Eunice Echampoma, he says, Gifty, please go and pay them. That's Eunice coming in with that particular.
We are not owing anyone. Service here is about to just commenced and they have not yet been paid, but the rest of them, they've been paid and claimed. So they are already home.
So Kofi Amening comes in with this. He said, Gifty, my humble appeal to you is for you to resource your district offices well. They are lacking more infrastructure. That's something you may want to take into consideration in your works.
Yeah, it's something we're looking at, and we've been looking at it every time. It's a general public service problem where when you go into other districts, we are still under the district offices and we share offices. And sometimes you may meet just one office for the whole national service scheme and other things. Yes, but we are hopeful that within this year we can be able to resource them more.
We'll be taking a few more comments as they have come. Adam El Nook on Facebook says the scheme is quite stressful, especially looking at how some institutions pokes lackadaisical towards personnel when they submit their appointment letters to their outfit. And he goes ahead to mention a particular institution whose name I wouldn't want to mention, but you can read on Facebook, where an NSS person from Takrady was denied placement for no reason. And he brings in that particular one. And concerning our question as to whether the scheme should be made optional, Ansu Tuoji comes in and says, why should it be optional? Unless you have refutable reasons why it should be optional. As it is right now, I personally believe it is okay. And yeah, on Facebook also, someone comes in and gives you some plaudits over there. I think it's Kofi Ameni. He says, Gifty, you are doing well because you've brought so many changes into the national service scheme. I can't wait for your confirmation as there. Okay. Okay. So, what are some of those innovations you've introduced as Kofi is making reference to?
So, Ben, for instance.
Okay, sorry. Before that, there's someone on the line. Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm Kujo. I'm back again.
Okay, Kujo, you're back.
The woman was saying something regarding my picture. Can you explain to me? Because I did not get a comment well.
Can I just take it generally? So
generally, yes.
You're right. So Kujo, what I'm saying is this: when you are registering, if you use any of the pictures that is on any of the ID cards you have, i.e. the SNIT card, any on the driver's license, Ghana card, the passport, or which other card do we even have in this country?
Pretty much
all the cards that we have.
ID card.
If you ever take a crop of your picture and place there, you would be refused. If you take a picture like the way people pose on selfies and put there, you'll be refused. So all of these things are flagged for you to come into the office and verify who you are. Because if really it is Gifty, then Gifty can just come and say, when you come, they would ask you for a picture again, and then they would take the details of your ID card and help you to properly enroll. Some other people are on the system and there says posting held, which means that their postings are just going to be released. Way back, we are allowing the NSPs to see it, and then they would take snaps of it and drop it on social media. So we decided to hold that system till we are done opening it publicly for you to be able to print. And these are the challenges that we have. So it's either authentication when it comes to your persona or your posting that had not been done. And some people to go there, they are accepted and later on want to do reposting. Those people to their health will look through and see why you were accepted and still want a repost before they open you.
Okay. So I think Kujo's case, and he had sent a comment in that regard. He says his status still remains hold after he came to the office. And trying to get behind the reasoning behind for the reason for those pictures being rejected. So in a case of a selfie, the assumption is that someone can just get onto social media and can get your picture and put there.
Yes.
And then one could just take a picture of your ID card and then put
because
it there.
Now because now it's easier for us to get access to any of the ID card system because of the system we're running as a country now. So we just want to authentify that you are the one that is supposed to be doing the service. So we don't have fraudulent people trying to come to do service or take someone's details to do service on the person's behalf.
Okay.
Because it happens sometimes.
So thank you so much, Gifty, for coming.
You still didn't let us talk about what we have achieved.
So tell us in 2 minutes.
Yeah, in a nutshell. One, we've digitized the system. We are running a metric system, like I said. Now, it's no more a point of paper process. We do more digital systems. Certificates are sent digitally. Certificates are sent to the doorstep of the national service personnel. So there you are done with service, you receive your certificate.
You can download it.
You can download it and keep it on your phone. Decide it's in your mail. So any day you want certificate, you don't have to walk into anything. You don't talk of missing certificates. Now we have a process where nobody who has done service before or not the person does service. So we save Ghana hoping millions every month from the process of using the e-switch and biometric process. So, and we've synced in all the other cards that Ghana is using, especially the Ghana card. So now all you just have to do is a click and you have it. Now, if you want to pay any money to national service, you do not have to stress yourself by going to pay and you don't even know who you're paying to. Use the Ghana.gov and then voila, the money is paid. So all our processes are now simple and very, very classy because we are digitized now.
And it's beautiful, as you say.
Very beautiful.
Very good and beautiful.
And this is very good and beautiful.
So, Gifty, maybe last word for the cohorts that have begun their service. I know for Asasi Radio, for instance, we've had a few people join us from last week. What is the message to them? Especially, I want you to touch on the purpose so that they don't miss it during the period they are serving.
Like I said, national service is a year not for jokes. It's a year for you to make all the errors you can make, learn more on the job, and be able to enhance yourself because it's the first time most of us are coming out to do job. But I believe that as you are about to commence, that same time, you would complete very soon. And it's only when you are about to complete and you appreciate the job you had. They should put in their all We believe in them. We have all the hopes. None of them should be taken advantage of. There is a desk called the Inclusion Desk at National Service. If anybody ever tries, report that agency, report that person. Let's deal with it. But do not come to our office with shams and stories which you know are not true. Because the same way you are supposed to report the people, you can also be checked. Make sure the right thing is done. If you are in the private sector, the allowance we are paying is a 559.04. That is the least any agency can pay you, or they pay more. If they do not pay you this one, come to the National Service Office. You'll be reposted on any day, any time. It is no way you should ever pay any money to anybody to get a reposting. Reposting is free. It is legal. Walk into any of our district offices, regional offices, if you are distressed or need any help for posting. If you need any help, to just call on us. We have our website, www.nss.gov.gh. Any of the executives, if you go on social media, you can connect to us. And National Service, the only authentified page we have is the National Service Scheme, which is on Facebook. We are not on Instagram, but we're on Twitter. So you can also...
It's a verified account.
Yeah, not verified yet, but then at NSSGH, and then you can connect to us and speak to us. Send us, we have a live feed chat that we do every day. We do not lose the chat, so anytime you have anything, just go on that one and have conversations.
Maybe a last one while we wrap up. Someone's asked, please, boss, ask Madam for us. What about the awaiting posting people? And you can connect that with a question coming from Samuel Lado.
Okay.
Please ask Madam when the nurses would be posted.
Nurses will be posted very soon. You know, nurses are specifically people we deal with, and we know where they are, who they are. So we have that. You realize that when the general posting, yes, we make a lot of noise on because it's general. But when we have the specifics like the teachers posting, the nurses posting, we do not put a lot of the stuff in the social media because people take advantage of these vulnerable ones. So when we post nurses, they would know. But it's going to be very soon. In December, obviously, we are posting teachers. No, this year we're not posting teachers because no teacher is completing this year. They will complete from next year, rather because now they are doing degrees. And then the posting on hold, he's saying, yes, there are a crop of people who registered late because they had these issues of verified and authentication. They are going to be posted within this week. They should expect their general posting. Yeah.
Okay. So Gifty Oware Mensah has been our guest. She is the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme here in Ghana, and she traveled all the way from Kumasi to join us this evening to have this conversation. So we are very grateful. My name is Benjamin Ofeado. Yeah, we are sorry. My name is Benjamin Ofeado, your regular host. The show has been Candid Voice. We've been live on Asasi Radio 99.5 here in Accra, 98.5 in Kumasi, and 99.7 on, that's 123 FM in Tamale. Until same time next week, stay here on Asasi Radio 99.5. We are the voice of our land. Have a good night.